The Ghoul has a handful of add-ons that actually do decent changes to his gameplay and make him feel smoother to play as. Today I want to talk about a pretty common one. And it's not Yamori's Mask, and it's not the red-headed centipede, but I actually want to talk about the fresh coffee add-on. Hi Kosu, I'm Psychosu, and if you didn't know already, Ghoul is my main killer. This isn't because he's some strong, overbearing killer, but actually because Tokyo Ghoul has been one of my favorite manga and anime series since I was 12. Tokyo Ghoul was one of those chapters I always dreamed of being in the game, but never really expected to happen, and if it did, I always thought it would be a cosmetic collection, since at the time, that was the only precedent set for anime in Dead by Daylight. Then Tokyo Ghoul came out as a chapter with Kaneki as the killer, right before my other dream chapter being Five Nights at Freddy's. That being said, I do still think about the Ghoul in terms of balance and gameplay settings. I care a lot about his gameplay feeling smooth on both sides and want the right changes to be made for him while considering both what Ghoul mains want and what survivors want. And with the chapter's first anniversary coming up on April 2nd, I want to start a discussion on his Fresh Coffee add-on. This is an add-on that I more commonly see people say should be made BASEKIT for Kaneki, as it makes his leaps and cutoffs potential feel more significant. And while I somewhat agree, I also feel like it isn't as necessary as people make it out to be. I want to add before I continue, this would all mostly be in an ideal world where Kaneki's vault has been removed or at least nerfed, in favor of amplifying the parts of his kit that take skills such as cutoffs, prompt steals, and the fancy stuff. An update made to actively raise his skill floor. So while yes, making Coffee base kit, it'd only be an overall buff to his kit that just makes playing him feel slightly better. Because while it could make his kit feel better overall, it could also make his less skillful play easier, unfortunately. It doesn't make landing Kagane hits feel any more rewarding. Currently, the Kagane bite rewards you with just an extra leap that doesn't do anything special and doesn't have a slide, and nothing super special is done after that. It's just an extra chance to get a cutoff or a prompt steal, but without add-ons, it's still just clunky feeling a lot of the time, and way too slow. This is why I would suggest Kaneki's Satchel should be base kit over Coffee. For those who don't know, Kaneki's Satchel increases the speed of the third leap, which is only available while enraged, by an extra 4.2 meters a second. This is one of the bread and butter add-ons for the cutoff playstyle. It makes it a lot more reliable as a consistent playstyle and generally makes Kaneki's kit feel a little bit more complete. Coffee's effect is a safe buff to the overall kit, but it just increases the speed fully of all leaps, but Satchel adds new utility to the third leap that it currently lacks, because it doesn't have a slide. So the base kit final leap only makes it useful in chase, but because it's slower without Satchel, it becomes easier to react to and a little bit clunkier feeling. Adding Satchel to the base kit instead of Coffee would make the third leap overall feel a little bit more nicer to use, a little bit more smooth, even if you're not trying the slingshot. Coffee's effect also gets severely lessened when the person playing Ghoul knows how to pull off slingshots. The speed increase is mostly made null because you're already moving at such a high level of speed. In my last video about Kaneki's issues and what I'd personally fix, I mentioned that I wanted Satchel base kit but Coffee to be left as is. This is why. I simply don't think Coffee would benefit how Kaneki feels to play, but rather just make him unnecessarily stronger, and without the proper changes made in other parts of his kit, watch my last video to know more about what it would fix, it would just make the Ghoul's brainlessness even more available, which is what I want behavior to avoid as they continue to change him. If the right changes are made to Ghoul, which by no means has to be my proposed changes, but just anything that removes the amount of strength power vaulting gives him and lessening the ease he has getting injuries would help him become a killer that is built with his now realized skill ceiling in mind. That doesn't mean to screw over the casual players, but rather to set a better precedent on what killers should be. There should never be something on either side that is so painfully easy to use that it takes minimal effort to get massive value out of. All that does is make it so players are stuck using those easy assets because using anything else requires too much input. I'm looking at you, Sprint Burst Vigil builds, Blight, and the Dead Dog main building. I hate that main building. And I know some of you might question what I'm saying given that I main the character and have been on record to say he's not that bad. I understand. The thing is, I never said he wasn't brainless either. I just want people to understand that there's a spectrum to things that are unhealthy for the game, and Ghoul isn't at the worst end of it. He's more like on the moderately annoying end, due to his bugs and his more than safe ability to vault so quickly and obnoxious perks disguised as add-ons that he gets way too much value out of. If you want to know more about what I would change about the Ghoul, check out my last video from last week. I go in depth as to what I would and wouldn't change about his kit. And while we're at it, you can check out my Twitch. I stream every couple days over there and love to talk about game health and Ghoul especially. And I love helping people learn about his kit and how to play as or against him, so drop a follow over there if you want more information about him. And if you haven't already, subscribe here for more videos about the Ghoul and other game topics that I end up talking about. Alright, back to the main topic. Kaneki's a really good character and is so close to being the best version of himself. Satchel's one of the best add-ons that make him feel truly complete, and in a future where he gets the right changes, Satchel's effect becoming a part of his main kit would make him feel so much smoother to play. It'd also open up so much more potential for more playstyles and add-on combos, but in truth, the rest of his add-ons just kinda suck as well and are mostly useless outside of Centipede, Mask, Coffee, and Satchel. Like, do you see anyone actually running Mato's Glove and getting value out of it? Or Torture Apparatus? That's a purple add-on that gives you 5% haste for 6 seconds when Enraged mode ends. If you're playing Kaneki well, Enraged mode shouldn't end, and it certainly wouldn't be ending in a place where a 5% haste boost for a couple seconds would even matter. And then there's also Eerie Eye Patch, which is a pink add-on, which is just poor man's Eerie Pin, but you have to spend all your tokens to activate it, even though vaulting already costs all of your tokens. And then Black Goat's Egg. You really suck. You know that? Explode. Rize's glasses are going to be better with the 9.5 update and the ability to change aura colors. Otherwise, before that, it would just reveal survivors working on generators when you successfully got a bite attack. The problem is that both survivors and generator auras were red, so it would just not work from most angles. Now this add-on is going to be better because you can make generators and survivors be completely different colors. So Rize's glasses is being indirectly buffed, so that's nice. But yeah, main point I wanted to make is just that I feel like Satchel would really benefit Kaneki's feel on the killer side, and would prevent Coffee being base kit and making it even harder for survivors to deal with his regular leaps already. This video was originally just going to be talking about why I felt Satchel was better for base kit, but I also added in a little bit of ranting about how genuinely awful a lot of his other add-ons are. I hope he gets an add-on pass when they start doing more substantial changes to his kit. That would make me happy personally, but I think I've shared my thoughts well enough. And shoutouts to Benork for helping me with a lot of the bullet points for this video. I'll put that moldy guy's socials in the description. Drop him a follow. He's also really good at Ghoul and has some astonishing clips he's shared. He shows off really well how high Ghoul's skill ceiling can be. But until the next topic, I am Psychosu, and goodbye Kosu.